Yuna stood at the entrance of the Galactic Unity Academy and took a deep breath. The space station was huge. Lights of every color moved across the walls. Strange sounds filled the air. She had dreamed of this moment for 2 years. Now she was here. The first human student to ever attend this school. She pulled her small bag closer to her shoulder and walked inside. The hallway was wide and filled with students. But none of them looked like her. Some had scales covering their bodies. Others floated in the air like jellyfish. A few had 4 arms or 6 legs. They all turned to look at her as she passed. Yuna heard whispers. She did not understand all the words, but she understood the tone. They were surprised. Some of them were laughing. A tall student with dark green scales blocked her path. He looked down at her with yellow eyes. His teeth were sharp like knives. "So this is the human," he said. His voice was deep and cold. "I thought they would be bigger." Yuna looked up at him. He was almost 2 meters tall. She barely reached his chest. "I am Yuna," she said. Her voice was calm. "I am here to learn." The scaled student laughed. A floating creature beside him laughed too. It looked like a glowing jellyfish with long, thin arms. "Learn?" The scaled one said. "What can a human learn here? You have no claws, no armor, no venom. Your species is barely out of the caves." Yuna said nothing. She remembered what her brother Taiho had told her before she left Earth. "Let them underestimate you," he had said. "That is their mistake, not yours." The scaled student moved closer. "I am Rivo," he said. "My people are the Valori. We are apex predators. We ruled our world for 10,000 years. He pointed at Yuna with a sharp claw. "Your kind are prey animals pretending to be sentient." The jellyfish creature made a sound like bubbles popping. "Good one, Rivo," it said. "Prey animals. That is very funny." Yuna stepped around them and kept walking. She could feel their eyes on her back. She heard more laughter, but she did not turn around. Her first class was physical training. The instructor was a Gethian named Pollux. He had 4 arms and gray skin. His voice was patient and kind. "Today we will test your basic abilities," Pollux said to the class. "Speed, strength, and reflexes." Yuna watched the other students. A Valori student ran faster than any human could. A rock-like creature lifted weights that would crush a car. The jellyfish creature, whose name was Mika, moved through an obstacle course by floating through the walls. When it was Yuna's turn, she did her best. She ran. She lifted. She dodged. But her scores were the lowest in the class. Rivo laughed loudly. "The human cannot even beat a child of my species," he said. "Why did they send her here?" Pollux raised one of his hands. "Enough, Rivo. Physical strength is not the only measure of a student." The next class was strategy and problem solving. The teacher gave them a puzzle. It was a holographic map of a battlefield. The students had to find the best way to win with limited resources. Most students chose direct attack. They used strength and numbers. Rivo sent his forces straight at the enemy. Yuna studied the map carefully. She saw something the others missed. A small path through the mountains. A river that could flood the valley. She moved her pieces slowly, quietly. While the others fought head-on, she circled around. She cut off supplies. She waited. In the end, Yuna won the simulation. Her forces had taken almost no losses. The room was silent. Rivo stared at the screen. "That is cheating," he said. "She did not fight with honor. She fought with intelligence," Pollux said. "That is also a weapon." Yuna allowed herself a small smile. But she knew this victory would make things harder. Students like Rivo did not like to lose. That night, she sat alone in her small room. The stars outside her window were different from the ones she knew on Earth. She felt very far from home. Her communication device buzzed. It was a message from Taiho. "How was your first day, little sister?" His voice said. "Hard," Yuna replied. "They do not like humans here. They think we are weak." Taiho laughed. "Let them think that. You know what humans can do. You know what we have survived. Ice ages, predators, wars. We are still here." "I know," Yuna said. "But knowing and proving are different things." "Then prove it," Taiho said. "When the time is right, show them who we really are." The next morning, Yuna walked into the dining hall. Revo was there with his friends. They looked at her and whispered. Someone made a joke. Others laughed. Then the speakers in the ceiling made a sound. An announcement began. "Attention, students," the voice said. "In 2 weeks, the Academy will hold its annual cultural exchange event. This year's theme is Bring Your Pet to School Day. All students are invited to bring a companion creature from their homeworld." Yuna stopped walking. She looked up at the speaker. Around her, students began talking excitedly. Revo smiled a wide, sharp smile. "Perfect," he said loudly, making sure Yuna could hear. "I will bring my Skarn. Then everyone will see what a real predator looks like." His friends agreed. They talked about their own pets. Venomous creatures, flying beasts, animals with armor and claws. Mika floated toward Yuna. "What about you, human?" she asked. "Does your species even have pets? Or do the animals on your planet eat you?" Yuna thought about home. She thought about Barum, her family's dog. His white fur, his amber eyes, the way he always waited by the door when she came home from school. "Yes," Yuna said quietly. "We have pets." "What kind?" Rivo asked. "Something small and soft, I imagine. Something weak, like your species." Yuna looked at him. Her expression did not change. "You will see," she said, and she walked away, leaving them to wonder. The days after the announcement were hard for Yuna. Everywhere she went, students talked about Pet Day. They shared pictures of their creatures. They argued about whose pet was the strongest, the fastest, the most dangerous. Revo was the loudest of all. He showed everyone a hologram of his Skarn. It was a reptile the size of a large wolf. Its scales were black and red. Venom dripped from its fangs. Its eyes were cold and hungry. "The Skarn is the perfect hunter," Rivo told a crowd of students. "It can smell blood from 2 kilometers away. One bite, and the venom stops your heart in 30 seconds. The students made sounds of amazement. Even some teachers looked impressed. Mika showed her pet too. It was called a drift sprite. The creature was beautiful. It glowed with soft blue light and could move through solid walls like a ghost. It wrapped around Mika's floating body like a ribbon. Drift sprites bond with their owners through telepathy, Mika explained. "We share thoughts and feelings. It knows what I want before I say it." Other students joined in. One showed a creature with armor so thick that no weapon could break it. Another had a beast with 6 legs that could run faster than a vehicle. A third student had a swarm of tiny insects that moved as one mind. Everyone had something amazing. Then they looked at Yuna. "What about the human?" someone asked. "What pet will she bring?" Yuna was sitting alone at a table, eating her food. She looked up and saw dozens of eyes watching her. "I will bring a dog," she said simply. The room was quiet for a moment. Then laughter exploded from every corner. "A dog?" Revo walked toward her, still laughing. "What is a dog?" Yuna thought about how to explain. "It is a 4-legged animal. It has fur. It lives with humans in our homes." "Fur?" Mika sounded confused. "That is for keeping warm." "So it is a prey animal?" "No," Yuna said. "Dogs are predators." More laughter. "A predator with no claws?" Revo shook his head.
No venom? No armor?
How does it hunt? With teeth, Una said. And speed. And teamwork. Rivo leaned close to her. His breath smelled like meat. Human, I have seen the data on your planet. Your species is not at the top of the food chain. You do not even have natural weapons. What makes you think your fuzzy little pet will impress anyone? Una met his eyes. She did not look away. You will see, she said again. Revo snorted and walked away. But the laughter continued. For the rest of the day, students made jokes about the human and her fur pet. That evening, Una sat in her room and called home. The connection took a few seconds to reach Earth. Then her father's face appeared on the screen. Dohan looked tired but happy to see her. He was a veterinarian. He had worked with animals his entire life. Behind him, Una could see the familiar walls of their house in Korea. Una, her father said warmly. How is my daughter? I'm okay, father, she said. But I need to ask you something important. What is it? Una took a deep breath. Can you send Baram to me? Her father's eyes widened. Baram? Here? To the space station? Yes. The school is having a pet day. Students bring creatures from their homeworlds. Una paused. They laugh at me, father. They think humans are weak. They think our animals are weak. Dohan was quiet for a long moment. Sending a dog across space was not easy. It was expensive. It required special permits and transport pods. Baram would be in stasis for the journey. It was a lot of trouble. But then Dohan smiled. I understand, he said. They do not know what a dog is, do they? No, they do not. Her father laughed softly. Then we will teach them. He looked over his shoulder. Baram, come here, boy. A moment later, a large white dog appeared on the screen. Baram was a Jindo, a Korean breed known for loyalty and intelligence. He was 30 kilograms of muscle and fur. His ears stood straight up. His amber eyes looked at the screen as if he knew Una was watching. Una felt tears in her eyes. Hello, Baram, she whispered. I miss you. The dog tilted his head. He always did that when he heard her voice. He misses you too, Dohan said. He waits by your bedroom door every night. Una wiped her eyes. Will you send him? Yes, her father said. It will take about 10 days for the transport. He will arrive just before your pet day. He looked at her seriously. Show them what loyalty means, Una. Show them what humans and dogs have built together. I will, father. Thank you. After the call ended, Una sat in the darkness of her room. She thought about Baram. She thought about the history of dogs and humans. Thousands of years ago, humans were not the strongest creatures on Earth. They had no claws or fangs. But they had something else. They had the ability to make friends with wolves. The wolves were dangerous predators. They could have eaten the humans. But instead, something strange happened. The wolves and humans began to work together. They hunted together. They protected each other. Over time, the wolves changed. They became dogs. They became part of human families. No other species in the galaxy had done this. Other aliens controlled their animals with fear or technology. But humans had done something different. They had earned the love of predators. The next day, Una walked through the academy with her head held high. Students still laughed at her. Revo still made cruel jokes. But now, Una smiled. She had a secret. And soon, everyone would know it. Sora. The insectoid student found Una sitting alone in the library. Sora was different from the others. She had never laughed at Una. She was curious and kind. May I sit with you? Sora asked. Her voice was soft and clicking. Yes, Una said. Sora sat down. Her many eyes looked at Una with interest. I want to know more about dogs, Sora said. I looked up information about Earth animals. I found something strange. What did you find? Sora leaned closer. Dogs are descended from wolves. Wolves are pack hunters. They have killed humans before. She paused. But you live with them. In your homes. Why do they not attack you? Yuna smiled. Because we are pack, she said. We are family. A dog would die to protect its human. And a human would die to protect its dog. Sora was quiet for a long moment. Her eyes blinked slowly. That is very strange, she said finally. And very beautiful. Yes, Yuna agreed. It is 9 days until Pet Day, and counting. The days passed slowly. Each morning, Yuna checked the transport status of Baram's pod. Each night, she dreamed of home. The teasing grew worse. Revo and his friends seemed to enjoy making Yuna's life difficult. One morning, she found fake animal ears on her desk. They were made of pink fabric, soft and floppy. Pray animal ears, Revo said loudly. For our little human pet. The class laughed. Even some students who had never bothered Yuna before joined in. It was easier to laugh than to stand alone. Yuna picked up the ears calmly. She looked at them for a moment. Then she placed them in the recycling bin and sat down without a word. Revo frowned. He wanted her to cry or get angry. Her silence annoyed him more than any response could have. What is wrong, human? He asked. Too stupid to understand the joke? I understood, Yuna said. It was not very funny. Revo's scales darkened with anger. But before he could say anything, Instructor Pollux entered the room, and class began. During lunch, Sora found Yuna again. The insectoid girl had been doing more research. She seemed troubled. Yuna, Sora said quietly, I found more information about Earth, about your history. What did you find? Sora looked around to make sure no one was listening. Your planet is very dangerous. Large predators everywhere. Extreme temperatures, diseases, natural disasters. She paused. Your species should not have survived. Yuna nodded. We almost did not survive. Many times. But you did. How? Yuna thought about the question. We worked together, she said. Humans are weak alone. But together, we are strong. We built tools. We built shelters. We built families and tribes and nations. She looked at Sora, and we made alliances with other creatures. The wolves, Sora said. Yes, and horses. And cattle. And cats, Yuna smiled. We cannot run as fast as a horse. But we can ride one. We cannot fight like a wolf. But we can hunt with one. Sora was silent for a long time. Her many eyes seemed to see something new in the small human girl. Your species, Sora said slowly, is very strange. Thank you, Yuna said. That night, she received a message from her brother Taiho. Baram's transport cleared customs, Taiho said. His voice was excited. He will arrive at Station Helion 9 the morning of Pet Day, right on time. Yuna felt her heart beat faster. Is he okay? The stasis did not hurt him? He is fine. The transport company said he woke up hungry and tried to eat everything in sight. Taiho laughed. Same old Baram. Yuna laughed too. She could imagine Baram, confused and hungry, looking for food in a strange place. But still brave. Still loyal. Make Earth proud, little sister, Taiho said. I will try. 4 days before Pet Day, the students held a practice showcase. Everyone brought holograms of their pets to show what they would present. Revo brought his Skarn hologram again. The image hissed and snapped at anyone who came close. My Skarn has killed 12 creatures in arena combat, Revo announced. It fears nothing. It obeys only me. Why does it obey you? Sora asked quietly. The question surprised everyone. Revo looked annoyed. Because I am its master. I control its food and its cage. It knows I am stronger. So, it obeys because of fear, Sora said. Not loyalty. Rivo's eyes narrowed. Fear and loyalty are the same thing. The strong rule the weak. That is nature. Sora looked at Yuna. Yuna said nothing. But she was thinking about Barham. Barham had never been afraid of her family. He obeyed because he loved them. He protected them because they were his pack. That was not fear. That was something else entirely. The night before Pet Day, Yuna could not sleep. She walked through the empty halls of the academy until she reached the grand atrium. This was where the showcase would happen. The room was huge. Seats rose up in circles around a central stage. Tomorrow, hundreds of students and teachers would fill this space. Yuna stood in the center of the stage. She imagined Barham beside her. She imagined the faces of all the students who had laughed at her. Nervous? Yuna turned. Revo stood at the entrance to the atrium. He walked toward her slowly, his claws clicking on the floor. No, Yuna said. Just thinking. Thinking about running away? Revo smiled cruelly. It is not too late. You could pretend to be sick. No one would blame you. Everyone knows your pet will be a joke. Yuna did not answer. Revo stopped a few steps away from her. In the dim light, he looked even more dangerous. His scales seemed to absorb the darkness. I do not understand you, human, he said. You know you cannot win. You know everyone will laugh. Why do you stay? Yuna thought about the question. Why did she stay? She could have given up weeks ago. She could have asked to leave the academy and go home. No one would have stopped her, but she did not want to leave. She wanted to show them, not because of pride, not because of anger, but because the truth deserved to be known. Humans do not give up easily, she said finally. It is one of our traits. Some people call it stubbornness. Others call it hope. Revo snorted. Hope is for the weak. No, Yuna said. Hope is what makes the weak strong. She turned and walked past him toward the exit. As she reached the door, she stopped and looked back. Tomorrow, she said, you will see what humans really are. You will see what we built with the creatures of our world. And then you will understand why we are still here after everything that tried to destroy us. Revo said nothing. For the first time, there was something in his eyes that was not mockery, that it might have been curiosity. Or it might have been fear. Yuna walked back to her room. She checked her messages one more time. There was a new one from the transport company. Cargo pod arriving at 0600 station time. Passenger, 1K9 male, breed Jindo, name Barham. Status, healthy. Yuna smiled and finally fell asleep. Tomorrow would change everything. Yuna woke before the station's artificial sunrise. She dressed quickly and ran to the cargo bay. Her heart was beating so fast she could feel it in her throat. The transport pod was already there. It was a silver cylinder with a small window on one side. Through the window, Yuna could see white fur. Barham, she whispered. A worker pressed some buttons, and the pod opened with a soft hiss. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a large white head appeared. Amber eyes blinked in the bright light. A black nose twitched, smelling 1,000 new things. Barham stepped out of the pod. He was exactly as Yuna remembered. 30 kilograms of muscle and loyalty. His white fur was thick and clean. His ears stood straight up, alert and watchful. For a second, the dog did not recognize his surroundings. Everything smelled strange. Everything looked wrong. He turned his head left and right, confused. Then he saw Yuna. His tail began to wag. Slowly at first, then faster and faster until his whole body was moving with joy. He ran to her and pushed his head against her chest. making soft whining sounds. Yuna fell to her knees and wrapped her arms around him. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "Good boy," she said in Korean. "Good boy, Baram. I missed you so much." Baram licked her face. His tail would not stop wagging. In that moment, all the weeks of loneliness disappeared. Yuna was not alone anymore. Her family was here. The cargo worker, a Foron Gethian, watched with wide eyes. "That creature," the worker said slowly. "It looks like a predator, but it is acting like it loves you." Yuna smiled through her tears. "It does love me, and I love it." The worker shook his head in amazement and returned to his duties. Yuna took Baram to a quiet room to let him adjust. She gave him water and food. She brushed his fur until it shone. She talked to him softly, telling him everything that had happened since she left Earth. Baram listened. Dogs did not understand every word, but they understood tone. They understood emotion. Baram knew his human was nervous. He knew something important was happening, and he knew his job was to stay close and protect her dot by midday. The grand atrium was filling with students. Pet Day had officially begun. The showcase was organized by species. Each student would bring their creature to the stage, present it to the audience, and demonstrate its abilities. The order was decided by a random draw. Revo was one of the first to present. He walked to the stage with confidence. Behind him, his scarn followed on a metal chain. The creature was terrifying. Its black and red scales gleamed under the lights. Its eyes were empty and hungry. Venom dripped from its fangs, sizzling when it hit the floor. "This is a scarn," Rivo announced. "The apex predator of my homeworld. It can run faster than any vehicle. Its venom can kill a creature 10 times its size. It has won 12 arena battles without a single loss." He gave a command, and the scarn performed. It attacked the training dummy, tearing it to pieces in seconds. It hissed at the audience, and students in the front row moved back in fear. Revo smiled proudly. The crowd applauded. More students followed. Mika's drift sprite floated through walls and changed colors. Another student's armored beast crushed rocks with its bare hands. Flying creatures filled the air. Venomous insects crawled across their owners' bodies. Each presentation was more impressive than the last. Finally, the announcer called Yuna's name. The atrium went quiet. Then whispers began. Then laughter. "The human! With her fur pet! This should be funny." Yuna stood up. Her legs felt weak, but she made them move. She walked to the stage entrance where Baram was waiting. The dog looked up at her. His tail wagged once, twice. His amber eyes were calm and trusting. "Ready?" Yuna asked. Baram's ears moved forward. He was ready. Together, they walked onto the stage. The laughter stopped. Baram walked beside Yuna with the calm confidence of a wolf. He was not on a chain. He was not in a cage. He simply walked at her side, matching her pace perfectly. The audience stared. Baram was not what they expected. He was not small or soft or weak. He was a hunter. His body was built for running and fighting. His eyes scanned the crowd with intelligence that surprised everyone. Revo Skarn saw Baram and hissed. But then something strange happened. The Skarn stepped back. It lowered its head. It recognized another predator, and it was not sure it could win. Instructor Pollux leaned forward in his seat. "That creature," he said quietly. "It is a carnivore. I can see it in the teeth, the eyes, the muscles." He looked confused. "But it is not attacking. Why is it not attacking?" Yuna stopped in the center of the stage. Baram sat beside her, perfectly still. "This is Baram," Yuna said. Her voice was clear and strong. "He is a dog. A Jindo from Korea, a country on Earth. A dog?" Someone asked from the audience. Is that a type of prey animal? No, Yuna smiled. Dogs are descended from wolves. Wolves were one of the most dangerous predators on our planet. They hunted in packs. They could kill animals much larger than themselves. They had fangs and claws and incredible endurance. She paused to let the words sink in. Thousands of years ago, humans were not the strongest species on Earth. We had no claws, no venom, no armor. Many things wanted to eat us. She looked around the room. Does that sound familiar? Some students shifted uncomfortably. But humans had something else. We had the ability to make friends. Yuna knelt beside Bahram and put her hand on his head. We did not fight the wolves. We did not run from them. We invited them to sit by our fires. We shared our food with them. We hunted together. Mika floated forward slightly. You tame predators? No, Yuna said. We did not tame them. Taming means control through fear. This was different. She scratched behind Bahram's ears. His tail wagged happily. The wolves chose to stay with us. Generation after generation, they chose us. They became dogs. They became family. She stood up and gave Bahram a command in Korean. Instantly, the dog rose to his feet and moved in front of her. His body became tense. His lips pulled back to show his teeth. A low growl came from his throat. The audience gasped. Some students scrambled backward. Yuna spoke another word. Immediately, Bahram relaxed. He sat down again, calm and friendly. He obeys me because he loves me, Yuna said. Not because he fears me. There is no chain. No control chip. No cage. If I opened the door right now, he would not run away. He would stay by my side. The room was completely silent. That is what humans and dogs built together, Yuna said. Not a relationship of master and slave. A partnership. A friendship. A bond that has lasted longer than most of your civilizations have existed. She looked directly at Revo. You asked me what humans have. We have this. The ability to turn enemies into friends. The ability to earn loyalty through love instead of fear. She smiled softly. That is our weapon. That is our strength. No one laughed. No one spoke. And then, slowly, the applause began. After the showcase, Yuna did not return to her room. She could not. Students surrounded her everywhere she went. They wanted to see Bahram. They wanted to touch his fur. They wanted to understand. How does it feel? One student asked, running her claws gently through Bahram's white coat. The fur is so soft. He likes being scratched behind the ears, Yuna said. And under the chin. Bahram sat patiently as dozens of alien hands touched him. His tail wagged slowly. He was not afraid of these strange creatures. They smelled friendly. And Yuna was calm. If Yuna was calm, everything was okay. So, Ara pushed through the crowd. Her many eyes were bright with excitement. Yuna, she said. That was amazing. I have never seen anything like it. Thank you for believing in me, Yuna said. You were my first friend here. Sora made a clicking sound that was like a laugh. I was curious about you. Now I understand why. She looked at Bahram. May I touch him? Yuna nodded. Sora reached out one of her thin legs and gently touched Bahram's head. The dog turned and sniffed her, then licked her leg. Sora jumped back in surprise. It licked me. Is that an attack? No, Yuna laughed. It means he likes you. It is a sign of affection. Sora stared at her leg where the dog had licked it. Then she began to laugh too, a strange clicking sound that filled the air. Instructor Pollux approached the group. The crowd parted to let him through. He looked at Bahram with respect in all four of his eyes. Yuna, he said, may I speak with you? Yuna nodded and followed him to a quieter corner. Bahram walked beside her, as always. "I have been a teacher for 40 years, Pollux said. "I have seen many species. I have seen their strengths and weaknesses. I thought I understood the galaxy." He shook his large head. "But I did not understand humans." "What do you mean?" Yuna asked. "We dismissed your species," Pollux admitted. "When we first made contact with Earth, we saw a young civilization. No advanced weapons. No natural defenses. We thought you were lucky survivors." He paused. "We were wrong." He looked at Barm. The dog looked back at him with intelligent amber eyes. "Any species that can earn the loyalty of predators through love instead of dominance," Pollux said slowly, "is not to be underestimated. The bond you have with this creature is remarkable." "It is not remarkable," Yuna said softly. "It is just what family does." Pollux was quiet for a moment. Then he bowed his head slightly, a gesture of deep respect among his people. "I will make an announcement to the school," he said. "Everyone should know what we learned today." That evening, Pollux stood before the entire academy. Students and teachers filled the grand atrium once again. "Today," Pollux said, "we witnessed something extraordinary. We saw a bond between two species that most of us did not believe was possible." He gestured toward Yuna and Bahram, who stood at the side of the stage. "We laughed at the human. We thought her species was weak. We were wrong." The room was silent. "Humans do not have claws or venom or armor," Pollux continued. "But they have something else. They have the ability to create connections, to build relationships based on trust and love." He paused. "That is a power that should not be underestimated." After the assembly ended, Yuna walked through the halls of the academy. Students stepped aside as she passed. But they were not avoiding her out of contempt. They were showing respect. A group of younger students ran up to her. "Can we pet the dog? What is his name? Does he bite?" Yuna smiled and let them gather around Bahram. The dog was gentle and patient with them. He seemed to understand that they were young and curious. Later that night, Rivo found Yuna alone in one of the observation rooms. She was looking out at the stars. Bahram lay at her feet, sleeping peacefully. Rivo approached slowly. He looked different somehow, smaller, less certain. "Human," he said. His voice was quiet. "Yuna." Yuna turned to face him. "Rivo." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Then Rivo sighed. "My Skarn," he said. "It has a control chip in its spine. Without the chip, it would try to kill me. It does not obey because it wants to. It obeys because it has no choice." Yuna nodded but did not interrupt. "I looked at your dog today," Rivo continued. "There was no chip. No chain. No fear in its eyes. It follows you because it wants to." He shook his head. "I did not think that was possible." "Many things are possible," Yuna said, "when you try." Rivo was quiet for another moment. Then he did something that surprised her. He bowed his head. "I was wrong about you," he said. "I was wrong about your species. You are not prey animals. You are something different." "We are just humans," Yuna said. "Nothing more, nothing less." Rivo looked at Bahram. The dog had opened one eye and was watching him. There was no fear in those amber eyes, just calm watchfulness. "Will you tell me more?" Rivo asked. "About dogs? About how your species became what you are?" Yuna smiled. "Yes, if you want to learn, I will teach you." Rivo nodded and left. Yuna watched him go, then sat back down beside Bahram. She ran her fingers through his soft fur. "Good boy," she whispered. "You did good today." Bahram's tail wagged lazily. Before she went to sleep, Yuna called her brother. Taiho's face appeared on the screen, grinning widely. "I heard what happened," he said. "News travels fast, even across star systems. Everyone is talking about the human girl and her dog. Yuna laughed. It was not just me. It was Barum. It was all of us. All the humans who ever loved a dog. That is what they do not understand, Taiho said. We are never alone. We carry our whole species with us. Every discovery, every bond, every act of courage. He smiled. You showed them who we are, little sister. I think they finally understand, Yuna said. Good. Taiho leaned back. Now get some rest? You earned it. After the call ended, Yuna lay on her bed. Barum jumped up and curled beside her, his warm body pressed against her side. Outside the window, the stars of the galaxy shone bright. She thought about Earth. She thought about her family. She thought about all the dogs who had ever lived beside humans, keeping them warm through cold nights, protecting them from danger, loving them without conditions. Thousands of years of partnership. Thousands of years of loyalty. And now the galaxy knew. Yuna closed her eyes and smiled. She was not the weak outsider anymore. She was a human. And humans were never truly alone. Beside her, Barum sighed contentedly and fell asleep, dreaming of home and hunts and the girl he would always protect. The station lights dimmed for the night cycle. Tomorrow would be a new day. And for the first time since arriving at the Galactic Unity Academy, Yuna felt like she belonged.